we were here.
Well, I think there may have been, we didn't clarify, we didn't state right up front there's a no preaching rule, but we really wanted to hear their feedback, even if some of it was a little bit lengthier than we thought it would be. Speaking of feedback, I wonder if we have any callers coming in. Ed.
Caller, are you there? Hello.
I'm here. Can you guys hear me? I don't know if you picked up.
Yes, indeed. What's your name, caller?
My name's Rich. I'm a Christian. I used to be an atheist. And I had a question for you guys. I was wondering if you could answer it.
Go right ahead, Rich. Are you calling from Florida?
No, I'm calling from California.
Okay. What part of California?
Southern California. I'm over here. Right. You know where Los Angeles is at, where we get free lighting from the police helicopters every Friday night?
That's a great description. So,
I used to live in Huntington Beach.
Ah, Joe used to live down there. So, Rich, you have a question for us. Go right ahead.
Yes, and I want to say I love your guys' show because I believe it's bringing a lot of people to Christianity. I actually play your show to some of my atheist buddies, and we agree to disagree agreeably on a lot of things. But here's what I see. I was listening to your show. I do enjoy your show, even though I'm a Christian and I disagree with everything. But what I see a problem is why atheists are having a problem getting people to believe in the humanist religion of atheism is that there is no proof or evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. And here's the question. Every time I ask an atheist to provide proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct, they cannot provide it, except you guys on your show, you have said that proof and evidence is important. So here's what I would like to ask. Here's the question.
Go right ahead.
Without answering the question with the question, which atheists always tend to do when I ask this question, here's the question. Notice I just said it, and he goes, do we? So here's the question. What proof or evidence can you guys provide that atheism is accurate and correct? And let's see if you can do it without asking a question with the question. And then I'll tell you how you did.
That's a fair condition, I think.
I think so, because there was no proof or evidence when I looked for it. That's why I left the humanist religion of atheism. But go ahead, I'll listen.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, since I'm going first, the atheism accurate and correct. Well,
what proof? No, what proof or evidence? What proof or evidence?
The evidence. First, we have to make sure we understand what atheism is, because you keep talking about the humanist religion of atheism, and I think you don't know what you're talking about. You say you were an atheist. You seem to have a very
atheism's not humanism?
You want me to answer? Go ahead and let me.
Go ahead. What proof or evidence?
Give me a chance to answer first. We have to make sure we're talking about the same thing, Rich, or otherwise we're only going to be talking past one another.
Whatever way you want to, listen, whatever way you want to define it, all I'm saying is what proof or evidence do you have that atheism is accurate and correct?
Fair enough.
It's a very simple question. Try not to hem and haw and avoid the question. Just simply answer it. You should have all kinds of proof and evidence. But I've been on about a minute, and I haven't heard anything.
If you give me a moment to answer, I will do so. Are you ready?
Ahead. I'm ready. I'm on the edge of my chair. You'll be the first atheist ever to answer it.
Don't fall off. Very well. We won't touch on your definition. I'll give you my definition.
No, any definition. Atheism's madness. So who cares what the definition is? It's madness. But go ahead and go for it. I'll listen to see what.
I really appreciate your listening. So atheism is exactly no more, no less than not having a belief in God. The evidence that atheism is correct for me is that I, through introspection, I know for a fact that I do not have any belief in a God. Therefore, I'm an atheist. Atheism is a description.
Where's your proof of that? Where's the proof and evidence?
My proof that I'm an atheist?
Where's your proof and evidence?
You want me to prove that
Where's
I'm
your proof
an
and
atheist?
evidence that you're avoiding the question? See, typical atheist with the spine of spaghetti. What proof or evidence do you have that atheism is accurate and correct? I asked a second time.
The problem, Rich, is that we're atheists because of the lack of evidence for a God.
So there's lack of evidence for atheists. So what proof or evidence do you have that atheism is accurate and correct?
Okay, no, please. He's talking enough already.
Third time.
Rich, I have answered your question because you keep interrupting me.
Where's the proof? You didn't supply any proof. You failed miserably on live radio to provide any proof or evidence that atheism is accurate and correct.
No, this does remind me of last night a little bit. Let's try this without you interrupting. Will you allow me to complete a sentence?
As
Yes or
long
no?
as the next words out of your sweet, lovable atheist mouth is proof and evidence, we, the world, if we're going to risk denying Jesus Christ, and we're going to have to believe in some other type of proof or evidence, you guys are going to have to supply more proof and evidence than Jesus Christ supplied. And what is so good about atheism, where's the proof and evidence of atheism that would allow a rational person like me, an ex-atheist, who got two things? I got a brain, and I read the Bible. I got a heart, and I humbled myself, and I confessed I'm a sinner. So I'm not hearing any proof or evidence that atheism is accurate and correct.
I know you're not hearing. You're not taking a pause to breathe. From my point
Go
of view.
ahead.
Now that you've answered,
Just try not to go off on a tangent.
You were, Rich, you said define atheism as I did.
No, I did not say define atheism. See, you're lying. Play back the audio. I said, what proof or evidence do you have? Don't lie.
We have this recorded.
How
You can
unfair.
listen to it later and hear what you said.
Yeah, play it back.
Atheism.
I never said define atheism. I said, what proof or evidence do you have that atheism is accurate and correct? And I'm going to be really quiet, and I'm going to listen to the proof and evidence. Go
Okay. Atheism is lack of belief in a God. When I say that atheism is correct, I mean that I don't have any belief in God. Do you understand that so far? Yes or no only, please.
I understand you haven't supplied any proof or
Thank you.
evidence. Yes, I understand you haven't supplied any proof or
Give me
evidence.
a-
Yes,
give me
I
a
understand
chance.
you haven't supplied proof or evidence. So
Good
where
Lord,
is it,
this man's
though?
repetitive. Okay. The
There's
evidence
someone else
that
on the
I-
line that could at least answer the question.
Rich, first of all, the evidence that I don't believe in God is my say-so. I'm saying I don't believe in God because I know that for a fact. The same way if you ask someone, what's your favorite ice cream?
How do you know
they
it for a
say,
fact?
They say it's vanilla.
Where's your proof?
What's your favorite?
Where's your proof that
your
you know it
favorite
for a
ice cream is
fact?
vanilla? What is your proof that your favorite ice cream is vanilla? Can you prove
Where's your
that?
proof
Do you
for
have
a fact?
evidence for it?
Where's
Rich,
your
you're
proof?
wasting our time.
Listen, we want proof and evidence.
I can
You
give
have
you proof if you
failed
ask me a
miserably.
mathematical
Listen,
question.
my sweet
you have a
lovable atheist.
mathematical question
This
for me,
is
Rich.
why I left the madness of atheism. It is based on faith,
I really doubt that he
100% faith.
This man doesn't
He
even
doesn't understand
what
it.
atheism
He
is.
doesn't. If he
But
was
I
atheist,
think
I
You
would
guys
understand
seem like you're pretty upset now. We have shaken the foundations of atheism now that the whole world and everyone on your show knows there is no proof or evidence for atheism. Someone please supply it.
I can say the same thing for Christianity.
Now we're going to give Frank an opportunity to speak. So, Rich, zip it.
It's just a matter of lack
As long as
of
am I going to have a chance to talk after Frankie boy here?
Just cut him off. We're going to let Frank talk.
Oh, running from the debate.
No. You're
All
not.
right, bye.
You're not
Am I going to have a chance to talk after Frank?
You run the show. Just
you called in to ask us what we think.
mute him. You can mute
No,
him.
I asked what
Trying to
proof or
express what you
evidence.
think.
Proof
Okay,
and
here it
evidence.
comes. Stand by.
Go ahead, Frank.
We have come to our conclusion that there is no God because of the lack of evidence. You know, extraordinary claims like they got in the Bible require extraordinary explanations. And we haven't seen hardly any explanations at all that aren't just drawn from fables. So we have come to the conclusion that there is no God, and everything that happens to man is either accomplished by man or is destroyed by man. There is no God there to guide us.
Okay, and Joe.
Well, that was a failure. That was no proof or evidence. That was opinion. But go ahead. Let's go to Joe. Let's see if he's got something better.
It's like if Frank says, okay, I have $5. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But if he says, well, I have now, a whole unicorn in my pocket.
A unicorn! Yes! You guys have Santa syndrome. You guys have Santa syndrome. That's what it is.
So, what proof do you have for Christianity?
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and dip my toes in the water, even though you guys, everyone would agree that you have, I'm going to answer your question, even though you guys will agree that would you agree you have not provided proof or evidence that atheism is accurate and correct? You've provided opinion.
Well,
Where can I look at the proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct besides the unicorn? Can I ask you a question too? What do you atheists got with Santa Claus and unicorns? You love them.
Because it's just
And the
it's
spaghetti
comparable
monster.
to Jesus.
Well, I think that's...
Well, who do you guys think Jesus is? I'll ask you a question. I'm going to let you guys escape the question because you obviously cannot provide proof or evidence on live radio. Well, who do you guys think Jesus Christ is?
You have...
Oh, well, it depends on which Jesus Christ you're talking about. There's the Jesus Christ of the literary Jesus Christ of the canonical Gospels, the Jesus Christ of the Gospels that didn't make it into the canon.
So who do you think he is?
Basically, well, it's basically whatever you imagine. It's who do you think he
legend.
is? There are about as many different views of Jesus Christ as there are people. Look at the pictures people draw and the statues people make. Jesus is white. Jesus is black. Jesus is Jewish. Jesus is Aryan. Jesus is
I can tell you. I can prove to you guys. I can prove to you God exists. Are you ready to listen?
You make up in your mind. And the point is, you're asking for proof or evidence of atheism.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that it's accurate or correct.
He seems angry.
I'm not angry at all. I love you guys.
Well,
I love you guys. I used to be an atheist. Do you guys love me?
Hold on one moment. Let's go back.
Wait, you guys love me?
Did ask for...
I love you guys.
All right, hold on a second. Hold on, Rich.
Okay, this is our show. We're going to get an edge in. We're going to get a word in edgewise. The question that this caller asked was, what proof or evidence do you have that atheism is accurate? Of course, the moment we start touching on that, he immediately interrupts, just repeating himself over and over again like some maniac. Talks about the madness he was in. I don't think he's left it yet. Now, what we need to do, if you're going to give proof or evidence of anything, I'm trained in mathematics. I know what proof is. Proof is something that you demonstrate rigorously. Now, that's great. If someone has a mathematical definition of God, I'm willing to hear it. But let's stick with evidence. The evidence for atheism is the simple fact that people don't believe in a God. Atheism is not a claim that God does not exist. I think that's the basic error that this caller is having. He thinks that atheism is the claim that God doesn't exist. Rich, you're wrong. That's not what atheism is. Atheism is a description of being without God, being without a belief in God. We don't believe in gods. What's there to prove about that? There's nothing that needs to be proven. Now, if you want to say, well, when we're considering the question, is there a God, can you prove there's not one? No, but who cares? I can't prove there's not a million things. I can't prove there isn't a God hiding on the other side of Mars right now. Maybe there is. Maybe there are 10 of them or 20. But that doesn't matter. Just because I can't prove it doesn't mean I have to believe in it. Just like you don't have to believe in Santa Claus or leprechauns or whatever other fairy tales you might imagine in order not to believe in them. So we have a really basic shifting of the burden of proof. This is a common, very common logical fallacy that so many hysterical religionists make, that they say, oh my goodness, they're contradicting what I believe. Prove that I'm wrong. Well, Rich, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm not going to prove that you're wrong because, number one, it's impossible to prove something when you can't even define it. Number two, I don't care what you believe. Most atheists don't. If you leave us alone, let us be equal citizens with equal rights, we're happy. And we defend the right of everyone to believe what they will, what they won't, as they choose. At least that's what Atheists of Florida does here in the state of Florida.
I like John Kiefer's bumper sticker. It says, we have the fossils, we win.
Well, that's a different issue.
Should I hang up? Or am I on the line?
No, go ahead. We'll give you your
I didn't want to interrupt you guys. Seriously, guys, I think it's a good, I'm glad you guys have the show. I think it's very important because I have to choose between the most famous person in the world, the most famous book in the world, Jesus Christ of the Bible, or I can believe in the words of Dawkins. Do you guys believe Dawkins is correct? When Dawkins says he believes aliens, he beliees aliens. Dawkins needs to phone home. Do you know in one of Dawkins' books, he says, hey, come on, guys, I'm talking. You remember when Dawkins said, there's no way, let me do my Dawkins imitation for you. The God of the Old Testament is a bloodthirsty homophobe, an ethnic cleanser, jealous, petty, and proud of it. But the problem is, as Ben Stein asked him, Mr. Dawkins, where's your evidence And he goes, well, I receive letters. Dawkins receives letters? There's over 6 billion people on the planet. The problem is Dawkins says on one hand that God could not exist, then he says that God could exist. So the question I have for you guys is, it sounds like you're saying that God could exist. You guys aren't atheists. You're agnostics. You need to change the show to Agnostics of Florida. Or do you guys totally do you not believe God exists, or do you believe he could exist?
You're not a Christian. You're just a wanna-believer. You don't really believe in Christianity.
Well, actually, I don't hate Jesus. I don't hate Jesus Christ like you guys do.
You don't even love Jesus Christ. You think that Jesus Christ is as mythical as we do.
I don't hate Jesus Christ like you guys do.
Neither do we. Why would you think we hate a mythical being?
And you know what? I'll tell you something, Rich. I'm one of the atheists who does say there is no such thing as God, because I understand that all of the 20,000 plus gods that have ever been dreamed up by our species were all just the imaginations of the people who dreamed them up. The very word God is just a fantasy. It has no meaning or substance.
Well, you guys have not provided proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. And on my radio show, I do a radio show also. I'm not going to interrupt and give my site out here because I don't want to disrespect your show. But on my show, I invite atheists to call in and provide proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. And just like you guys, no offense, I love you guys, but you have failed miserably to provide
evidence. That's because you shifted the goalpost. After we gave you the evidence,
no, you said it on your show. You said it. I got audio of you saying proof and evidence. You said it. You guys are hypocrites. You said on your show, I got audio of you saying that you need to provide proof and evidence. Well, you guys, you need to provide proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. I'm going to give you one last chance. I'm not going to talk. Go ahead and provide proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll listen to the show.
That question was asked and answered. The fact that atheism
You never answered it. What'd you say? What was the proof? Where is it? Where can I find this proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct?
Come on.
All right. We got another caller, Rich. Nice to hear from you.
Thanks for running from the show.